Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda.
And thanks for joining us for another edition of the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig, and in a moment we'll be joined by City Manager Mark Roloff. As usual, in the first half of today's show, we'll have some municipal news updates, including items from city departments and things happening in Oshkosh. In the second half, we'll highlight items from the upcoming Wednesday, November 9th, Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. And with that, we bring in our City Manager, Mark Roloff. Mark, thanks for joining us today.
Great to be here, Andy.
Okay, well, we have a lot of things to talk about today. If, in case anybody hasn't noticed or seen any political ads, there is an election coming up on November 8th, and we wanted to remind folks about some items to keep in mind regarding the election.
Right. So, as of this release out to the media, early voting's over, but there's still opportunities to go in and vote on Election Day, or if you've already received your absentee ballot, getting it into us as soon as possible. It may not be the best idea to mail it right now because There's no guarantee it'll be here by Tuesday, November 8th, but we encourage people to personally drop off their absentee ballot. Drop boxes are no longer allowed, but you can drop it off in person at the city clerk's office, and then they'll be happy to take your absentee ballot if necessary.
That's right.
But of course, because of all the early voting that we've seen, the lines at the election stations, polling places on election day probably won't be that long anyway. You just try to figure out a good time to go, and you'll be able to vote with pretty easy convenience.
That's right. And talking about the absentee ballots, there was a court decision that was made on October 28th that folks are no longer able to make any changes to their absentee ballot if it's already been submitted. So we just wanted to point that out as well. Yeah,
it's sort of a no takebacks rule type of thing.
Right.
That's something that our city clerk's office doesn't do. That is uniform throughout the state, and we have to comply with those uniform rules. So I know some people don't like that, but we have to follow the law, and we do. And so hopefully when you've made your voting decision, if you voted early, you did it with, you knew what you were doing, and no change of mind, because unfortunately you can't do that.
That's right. So just a reminder to folks that polling places will be open on Tuesday, November 8th from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. And folks can visit, it was up before, but the myvote.wi.gov for polling place information to find out where you vote. And also you can view a sample ballot there if you'd like to take a look and just make sure that you know what's on the ballot. You can look at it there. So, and of course, if anybody has any other questions regarding elections, there is a web page from the city for elections from our city clerk's office, and you can visit that page at ci.oshkosh.wi.us, and you can find the city clerk's information there. And the city clerk's office is always happy to help at phone 236-5011. So a lot of information there from the clerk's office. Okay, and then also, Mark, we wanted to give an update about the road construction and various projects happening around Oshkosh. Folks, I think, are getting excited to see some of these open up, and they're getting pretty close.
Yeah, we are. Progress is coming along with our summer construction projects that have been challenged because of supply chain issues and all that stuff. But Algoma Boulevard, I'm happy to report, is doing quite well, and we have some recent footage that you see. Even though the street remains closed to traffic, you can see some great progress going on, and there's some new updates that folks who live right along Algoma between Woodland and Congress have a little better access now that they can go into. And we just received a report just before we started doing the show that Algoma Boulevard itself will open up to traffic either late on Friday, November 11th, or early on Saturday, November 12th. That also would mean that High Avenue will return to one-way traffic. Currently it's two-way to get people in and out of the university area. So we'll be back to the old way of Algoma will be going one way and High will be going the other way. But we're expecting, so watch social media, listen for things, but we're expecting late on the 11th or early the 12th that traffic will finally be reopened, and we'll be very excited to see. And you can see that it's looking very, very good. So it's just putting some final touches on a very extensive project.
It's been quite a project, right, and folks will be excited to have that reopened, but we can see there it looks like it's very close, and just kind of finishing up, buttoning up the project right now, as they say.
So we have a couple other projects going on. Oregon Street on the south end of town, the contractors continuing to do utility installation work. So there's always updates on our website, but look out for detours, because they can change sometimes even on a daily basis. So be on the lookout. You can certainly subscribe from Public Works to the updates on the different projects in Oregon Street in this case. So it took a while for us to get the materials for the sewer pipe, because it's primarily a sewer project, but getting that done is going to be real exciting.
Right, for sure. And beyond road construction, another project that's underway is over at Lakeshore Park, kind of close to the Oshkosh Corporation headquarters over there. The Parks Department is building a new Four Seasons building, and that work is progressing as well.
Yeah, it's slow but steady progress. We don't have anything video to show just yet, but here's what it'll look like when it's all done. And you can see some of the concrete's already getting formed, especially for the sidewalk. So what you're seeing here with the different views, it's going to be a wonderful facility. Originally, we had hoped to open it in November, but we got a very late start with all materials and supply issues. So, but we're expecting sometime late spring, early summer is probably when we're going to have this all done. So cross your fingers, and you'll see progress throughout the winter, and then we'll have some video when we really start having things to show you.
Sure, and we'll continue to update folks on these various projects on our social media and on future City Manager Report programs. Okay, also, Mark, there is a community survey that is now open for Oshkosh residents, and this is based on a national community survey that is utilized in many communities, but this one is customized for Oshkosh, and it's currently open for residents to participate.
Right. We've been doing a citizen survey since I started way back in 2008, and we've been doing them annually. A little blip with COVID, but we do the survey to get input from residents about what they think about things we're doing, what we're doing well, what we could improve on, and those are all legitimate things. But we also wanted to go one step farther and say, how do we compare with our peers out there in other areas? So one of the things we're doing is we're participating in this national community survey, and there are some standard questions that are used throughout the country, and we can use that to see how we're doing.
Sure.
So the National Community Survey was among the first scientific surveys that was developed to gather resident opinion on a range of community issues. And it's actually being used in 350 jurisdictions across the country. So we're pretty excited about that.
Right. And communities are benefiting through this survey through improved service delivery. It helps leaders identify clear priorities and with strategic planning and budget development. So, really it helps the whole process all the way through.
And we do use this data. As we make budget decisions, we certainly point out to council, and departments point out to council that here's what the public's saying about this. We need to do a better job at this. Or we're really satisfied with this, we do this well, or this is very important to us. So that helps guide the council on the decisions that they make.
Sure. And this survey, as we mentioned, is now available, and it will be open through November 15th. And to get to it, visit the city's website, and in the Hot Topics area, there's a link to the survey right there. So that's the easiest way to get to it. There's also some other ways to link to it through the city's website, but the easiest way is right through Hot Topics. And if you already are a subscriber to the Polco service, you would have a link through the through the email that you get through Polco. So encourage everybody to participate in the survey. It's very much appreciated for your time to go through and participate there. Okay, then we also wanted to point out that we continue to do loose leaf collection in Oshkosh, and this has been underway since October 17th.
Well, it's that time of year. Even though the weather in the past week has been very nice, almost summery, we're still picking up leaves because they're still falling. So we're going to be picking up as usual on the day after your scheduled garbage day. Now, sometimes our folks actually get ahead of themselves and you may see them there earlier, but we'll still be back on the day after your garbage day, so don't worry. But as you can see from the video, we only pick up leaves. There's no grass, brush, or garden plants that we pick up. It's really just a way to get very light leaves that get vacuumed up. So please be careful with that. We ask you to pile them on the terrace, not in the street, where it could get clogged the storm sewer drains or anything like that. So please keep them on the terrace. We'll get to them. And then the goal right now is for loose leaf collection to end the week of October 14th through 18th. And I'm guessing that most of the leaves will be off the trees by then anyway. But and then just a reminder, because this is coming right up, brush pickup is going to be the week of November 7th through 11th. So if you want to get your brush out there with all the limitations that we ask that you do, please do that. And you can always contact our sanitation office for more information. And sanitation office is 920-232-5383.
Okay, very good. Then also, as we're talking about seasonal things here, winter is around the corner. We don't like to talk about that, but one of the things is that sometimes folks, if they don't shovel their walks, the city sometimes needs to, unfortunately, take care of that shoveling, and those rates are increasing from the vendor that does that work.
We don't actively go out and look for people who haven't cleared their sidewalk, but if we get a complaint, we will investigate it. We'll check surrounding neighbors so that we're consistent, but your sidewalk should be cleared within 24 hours after snowfall stopped. And if you don't, and we get a call and we confirm that it hasn't been cleaned up, we have a private contractor that goes out and does that. And those costs have increased anywhere from 50 to 75% this year. So the minimum charge is going from $99 to $164, a $65 increase. Quite honestly, we have no interest in doing this and billing you that kind of money. So please, please, please clear your sidewalks within 24 hours after snowfall, because we don't do it to make money, and it's more of a hassle when we have to do it, and then people call and say, why'd you do this, blah, blah, blah. I would much rather have people just clear their sidewalk, get zero complaints, and get 100% compliance, and then we never have to send out a bill at all.
Mm-hmm. But we just wanted to get the word out there that those rates are unfortunately going up, and so just to urge folks to take care of their sidewalks and keep them clean.
And also the handicap ramps. If you're at a corner like I am, you have to make sure the handicap ramps and the corners are cleared, and that's just those crosswalk accesses that are adjacent to your property. And that's just one of the downsides of being at a corner, but it really helps residents, your neighbors, move around appropriately during the winter. Okay,
very good. All right, and then we also wanted to give a quick update about the Jackson and Oregon Street Bridge. And even though this is a DOT-operated bridge, we just wanted to share what we know at this point.
Yeah, we're regularly contacting the State Department of Transportation to get an update. And it's a slightly different update that they're saying that the bridge part that is missing and broken will be in by 11/11, be delivered by 11/11, November 11th. And as you can see, this is video from the summer, but it's still the same. The bridge is up to get navigation. Even though recreational navigation is stopped for the season, there's some commercial businesses like contractors that use it, so the bridge must stay up until those contractors are done. But we're told if the part is in by the 11th, it'll probably be installing it the following working day, which would be November 14th. So we'll keep you posted. We can only give you what information the Department of Transportation gives us. So please be patient, and we'll keep you posted.
And just keep an eye on our City of Oshkosh social media. We'll post as soon as we know something, we'll share that as well. So otherwise, I guess that's about what we have for the first half of the program today, Mark. So it's time for us to take a short break. Stay with us, and we'll have some highlights from the next council meeting agenda. We'll be right back.
Hi everyone, it's Carmen. If you want to know all about the nuts and bolts of voting in Wisconsin, talking about registration, absentee voting, election security, and more, I'll walk you through it and we'll get there together. Go to elections.wi.gov/101 to find videos and other information to help you learn more about the election process. Elections 101 is your basic how-to guide for voting in Wisconsin. See you there.
And welcome back to the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig, along with City Manager Mark Roloff. Let's turn our attention to the agenda items from the upcoming Wednesday, November 9th, Oshkosh Common Council meeting. And we did want to make sure folks realize that it is on a Wednesday because of Election Day being on Tuesday the 8th.
Yeah, anytime the general election like this is held, we have the meeting the day after. So it'll be Wednesday, so don't show up on Tuesday. You'll see the clerk's office busy with elections, but everybody else will be gone.
Right, exactly. So the agenda starts off with a public hearing, and this is also for the Sawdust District area for a vacation of a portion of East 9th Avenue.
Yeah, actually, we have to go through a formal process whenever we vacate right-of-way that it's currently public. But really what we're doing in effect is a land swap, because what's going on in the Sawdust District and the development that's from T-Wall out of Madison is that we're redoing East 9th Avenue that will connect to the Pioneer Island area. So you see on the east end of this that the road curves a little bit. So when it's not straight, it curves. It doesn't actually match up with how the right-of-way is. So we're going to be vacating a very small portion of what's currently 9th Avenue and then swapping it with the owners for another piece that will allow us to curve the road properly. So, but we have to go through this procedure that's required by law. But this is all it's about. It's about putting that curve in 9th Avenue, and you'll start seeing the project progress on that very shortly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. Then we also have under the consent agenda, there's an item for purchase and installation of automatic license plate readers, and this will help our law enforcement agencies.
Yeah, one of the things we found out through the country is that when a crime's committed, having access to persons of interest with a license plate reader, and this device can be installed throughout the city and just identify at various locations where a car, if there's a belief a car was through there, then you can match up the license plate to the person of interest. So this has been used very effectively throughout the country, and we actually have a grant that's covering this installation. It's about $124,000 over 2 years. So we're really excited that we're going to be able to have this resource available to assist law enforcement for things like child abductions and things like that. So it's not going to be used for any traffic or anything like that. It's really meant for crimes of a personal nature.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. And then we have a few items on the agenda for some big projects that are coming up. We continue to work on our stormwater management, and one of these is for a new detention basin kind of in the rural area a little bit, west of Oshkosh.
This is in the Sawyer Creek area, which is our largest watershed, because we have 120 watersheds throughout the city, but Sawyer Creek is like 10,000 acres. It's our largest watershed, both inside and outside the city. Mm-hmm. And you may recall that we did a what we call Sawyer Creek Rural 1 about 9 years ago now, and it's immediately west of the location you see here. This second location is another large stormwater detention basin that holds back water so that when you have a big downpour, the water that's in the urban areas of the city can get to the river as quick as possible, but then holds this water back. So this area is just immediately west of Clairville Road, and it's between County Road K, which is 20th Avenue in town, and Highway 91.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is build another big hole that holds water back. It doesn't hold it back for a long time, but if we can hold it back for even 24 hours, that has an incredible impact. So we're working to put these types of ponds in so that we can continue to address stormwater issues, so that when we have big storms, we can minimize the impact that could flood downstream and flood our neighbors and our own homes.
And that's why oftentimes folks see these basins dry, but in reality, it's for those peak times that these are needed for.
It fills up very quickly, and then within 24 hours, pretty much it's gone. So yeah, very effective at doing it. And I know people think, well, I've never seen it filled. Well, hopefully you don't see it filled too often. But yeah, that's how it works.
Okay. And then we have some other items on the agenda. One of those that I think folks will be excited to hear about is that Wisconsin Street will be reconstructed.
Yes, the Congress Avenue Field Neighborhood Association is quite excited about this. This is the Wisconsin Avenue reconstruction. The bids came in very competitively because we opened the bids before the State Department of Transportation was going to be opening some bids shortly. So we got a jump on that and got really good bids. But you can see that Wisconsin Avenue from New York Avenue north to Bent Avenue will be completely reconstructed in 2023. So we're real excited. It is long overdue. So the folks who have been asking me about this for several years now, your wish is finally coming true. Thank you for your patience, because we know we can't do every street all the time, but this is one that I know is long overdue.
Okay. And then we also have Bradley Street for a project as well.
Yeah, this is a lesser known street, but it is in an industrial area that has a lot of traffic, and this street is pretty beat up. It's Bradley between 28th Avenue and Waukau Avenue. It's really between Oregon Street and Fond du Lac Road on the south side of town, but it's in rough shape, and we're going to redo a culvert to help with drainage. But if you drove it, you'd know it's kind of almost lunar surface-like. So we wanted to make sure we took care of that. That's another project we got very good bids on. We were estimating bids of over $2 million. We got it below $2 million, so we're very excited that we're going to get this done in a cost-effective manner.
Okay, very good. Then also under new resolutions, we have a big one. We have adoption of the operating budget and property tax levy for the city. And we had a lot of workshops leading up to this point. We
sure have. We have had 5 different workshops with the city council since back in July, giving them some pre-information and then getting them up to date on where it was. We had 2 day-long workshops in mid-October, and then most recently we had a workshop after last week's public hearing to get public input on this, and then council had to start making the tough decisions. And I can only tell you where we stand right now. Council can certainly make changes at the meeting on November 9th, but we try to, at that last workshop, get it as close to final as possible so that it makes it relatively easy to get the budget adopted and the tax levy set, because the tax levy translates into the tax bill. And while nobody likes to receive it, they do like to receive it in a timely fashion so they can get it paid by the end of the year if that works with them for tax purposes, or if you're leaving for the holidays or something like that. So we want to make sure we get it done. So the bad news for everybody, the levy is proposed to go up about 4.5%. A lot of that is due to staying competitive with costs for personnel. Health insurance has been going up quite a bit, and state aid continues to be frozen. So if the state doesn't give us more money, which they haven't in over 10 years, and actually close to 30 if you look at it that way, we have to rely on property taxes. So the budget's only going up about 3.5%, but the levy's going up 4.5%. And that's because we're not getting enough money from the state. But I'll leave it at that for right now, Andy.
Okay. Well, we'll continue to watch this. And if folks would like more information about the city budget, we did a special city manager's report recently that kind of gives an overview of the whole budget process and some more details also about the monthly costs and how residents are affected. And that can be viewed on the Oshkosh Media YouTube channel, as you see right there. And also it replays on GovTV. So that's kind of a deep dive on the budget.
Yeah, it gives you a little more detail, and certainly, how we got to where we are today with the council making some decisions about things they wanted to add to the budget, which is appropriate. And then on top of that, the council also approves the 2023 capital improvement program, and that is how we're going to fund our capital projects. So those have been identified, and then they've been refined over the course of the budget meetings, but we got a $60 million capital improvement program for Oshkosh for 2023, so the council needs to approve where the money's coming from. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, even though it's one-time money, it's coming from the federal government, the American Rescue Plan Act, our specific infrastructure projects that we're using ARPA money for 2023, council's also approving that, so we get a separate appropriation from the council for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Well, and then we also have another agenda item that we are working along with Winnebago County for some cost savings, and this is for a fiber installation project.
Well, actually, two of our ARPA, our American Rescue Plan projects, are extending fiber, which is part of our broadband infrastructure, and one of them involves Fire Station 19 that's out on Snell Road. Mm-hmm. And we have regular discussions with Winnebago County on things that they're doing, and we both identified that we would like to get to our Station 19 as well as the county jail with new fiber, and we identified a route that we can both share, and it's over on Murdoch and Bowen Street near Fire Station 18. We can go north on Bowen, west on Snell, get to Jackson and Snell, and then we both go our separate ways, but it's so much more cost effective. So I want to thank the Winnebago County for their collaboration to make this cost effective for both of us. Makes better use of the ARPA funds as well, so we're real happy about that.
Okay, all right. And then we also have a review of boards and commissions, and I believe there'll be some discussion about that. Yeah,
at the previous meeting there was a discussion, and we've had ongoing discussions about boards and commissions because we have over 20 boards and commissions, mm-hmm. and that is really taxing on a lot of people who volunteer for our boards and commissions, and we appreciate that. So one of the questions was, should we take a look at our current board and commission makeup? We actually did we did a study back in 2017 and made a few tweaks. Now we're taking a look at, should we do this again? And one of my recommendations is, because staff studied this a great deal in 2017, some things have changed, but not a ton. But really, this is a policy decision because these boards and commissions advise the council on policies and things like that. A lot of them are advisory, some are required by law, but there's a mixture of them. But is there a way, especially with the ones that are more advisory and optional for council, if they want to continue to get citizen input, what's the best way? My belief is that the council should make that decision, not staff. So my suggestion is going to be that maybe they look at creating a subcommittee of the council to take a look at this very issue. And I think if they do that, then they'll have more ownership in making a decision on what boards and commissions they want to maybe tweak a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And the council agenda does include a link to that June 2017 report.
Yeah, and I wrote it, so I'm very familiar with it. So I think the public should take a look at that as well to give them a good background on it.
Okay, very good. Well, I think that's about all the time that we have today, Mark. Thank you very much for your insights.
It's always a pleasure, Andy.
All right. And thank you very much for joining us today. Again, that Oshkosh Common Council meeting is at 6 p.m. this Wednesday. We want to make sure that we point out it's Wednesday, November 9th at City Hall, 215 Church Avenue. And that meeting will be televised live on GovTV, which is Spectrum Channel 10, UVerse Channel 99, and streaming on YouTube and OshkoshMedia.org. oshkoshfm.org. Or you can listen to it on the radio, Oshkosh FM 101.9, which is also online, on the TuneIn Radio app for phones and tablets. And then you can also use your favorite streaming device, including Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV. Just search for the Oshkosh Media app and you can find it there. And please join us again in 2 weeks for another City Manager's Report. Thanks for checking in with us.